Okay. Okay, you there? Yep. Alright, so I had to go get an MRI on my back. Right? And when I went to the office, they were like, "You have insurance?" I was like, "Yes." So I showed them my insurance card, and they wanted to charge, I believe I would have to pay my deductible, which was like $2,500, and the MRI total was $4,000 or $4,500, I believe. But they gave me the option to pay it outright without insurance for $1,500. So I looked at the paperwork. I was like, let me look at it before I say yes, to anything. And basically, because I had insurance, they were allowed to charge as much as they wanted to the insurance company. The insurance company required me to pay a deductible, so they could jack up the price just for the insurance company.
Like your
But
deductible was $1,500.
But if I paid it outright, just out of my own pocket, they were willing to take the $1,500. That right there is the state of our healthcare system. And that is the bullshit we got to put up with. That is why people are so mad. That is why a lot of people fight for it. Is because of that type of stuff. Yeah, exactly. We're goddamn ridiculous. So it made me mad, and I just paid it straight out of pocket. I was like, fuck it. If I got to pay a $2,500 deductible, but the only good thing is if I had paid the deductible, then anything I had done after that, I wouldn't have had to pay for it. Like if I had surgery or anything like that. But I was like, screw it. I'm just going to get this MRI done once to see if there's any issues. If there are, then the next thing I'll pay the $2,500 is all it was just one of those gambles which I just took. And I'm glad I did because there ended up being, it confirmed what we already knew, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So I didn't have to do anything else. But it was just like, why are you charging me only $1,500 if I pay it, but you're charging the insurance company $4,500? Oh, because we can. That was the answer. Because we can. So there needs to be an overhaul. And, yeah, it's the way that it was supposed to work was everybody was supposed to have access to it. You were supposed to be able to get health care online through the government website, through anybody. You could shop around for it and get affordable health care. The problem is most everybody I know that used it, it cost them so damn much. So I have a friend who's a private business owner, like she owns a small bakery, but it cost her so much money that she couldn't afford it. But what happened is, come around tax season, if you didn't have insurance at all, then you were fined like, I think it was like $250, $300 on your taxes. So they fined you for not having insurance, but then they made it, it wasn't necessarily affordable for everybody. I remember one friend of mine, he was getting it for him and his kids, and I think it was like $900 a month or something like that. Something stupid. Like way too much. Another person, because they own a small business, cost them $3,500. So there was nothing really affordable. Some people it worked, most people it didn't. And then if you didn't have it, the government was like, oh, but we're going to fine you because now you have access to health insurance, but you're just not willing to pay it. So it doesn't necessarily... And here's the thing. The reason is, as with all systems, like a car, or this horse, for instance, who's not doing intelligent. So, like a car or any kind of machine as a system, when something breaks down, you can't just fix that one thing and expect everything to be 100%. Usually when something fails in a system, you have to do an overhaul on the whole entire system. And that's our problem, is everybody's just trying to fix one aspect of it, one piece of it, rather than taking it all as a picture. The insurance companies, the amount that doctors charge, such as what I told you, access to it. You're gonna have to, the politicians would have to tackle every aspect of it, and they just don't want to. A lot of times, sometimes they do. Sometimes they just want to tackle one part of it, but to get them all agree on what's broken is the hard part. It's like having three mechanics look at your car, and one person tells you it's radio, the other one person tells you it's your alternator, and the other person tells you it's your belt. They all disagree on what needs to be fixed. Rather than the one mechanic sitting there going, yeah, you need to fix all three things in order for your car to work. Yeah, they are. They're all private. So, but that's the thing is, you kind of go. But I think the fix would be you're going to need to deal with the insurance companies and the way that these, if you're going to charge the customer $1,500, then that needs to be the amount billed to the insurance company. It doesn't need to be $4,500 just because you can. That's a lot of times why these MRIs and X-rays are so damn expensive. That's a lot of times why a consumer will not go out and shop around, because no matter what, the insurance company, the doctor's going to tell you a fee according to what they can bill the insurance company for. And that's the annoying part. I go to a doctor, how much is an MRI? $3,000. If I pay it outright, $1,100. Go somewhere else, how much is it paid out of pocket? $900. How much for my insurance company? $4,500. So stupid. It's crooked as hell. But that's how the doctors make their money. But there are some good, not everything is evil about it. There are some good doctors out there that actually do right. Specialists, most specialists I've met do okay. But sorry, I was distracted by the book. I need nettle and belladonna. So, like I said, it's not going to be a quick fix. Nothing is ever going to be a quick fix for a system that's been in place for, over half a century. That's the problem with most things here. It's been in place for so long, you can't just take one aspect of it, change it, and expect the rest of it to just work. I think that's what people fail to see. A lot of people out there are like, why can't you just do this? And why can't that just work that way? Oh, this is why. It's a system. Kind of like a doctor diagnosing a body. When things start to fail, you gotta work through it, work through the symptoms of what it is. You can't just treat one thing. Yeah, there are so many things with that would just need to be fixed. The part that bothers me most, especially about this recent shooting, is the people that the guy lived with said, we didn't see any warning signs. Okay, here's a warning sign. The kid was in trouble through middle school. The kid's mom died. He was depressed. He got kicked out of school, yet the dad of the guy he was living with said he didn't mind him having a gun in the house. Frankly, if those four things were going on with this kid, he should have had a gun. That's the problem I have. Yes, the parents that he was living with, there were warning signs. You know, but you know, hindsight being 2020, to me, that would have been like, you're not gonna have a gun if you got kicked out of school. You're gonna have a gun if you're violent, which is why you were kicked out of school. Everybody's complained about it. Your mom died. You're depressed. I'm not, and also you're not just gonna come in my house and have free reign on the internet. You know, like with my kids, you're not gonna have social media and everything else going on without it being policed a little bit. You know, mostly. I need to know what's going on. Let's see, wine. Belladonna metal. Hold on, I got distracted again. Prepare wine. They passed all the background checks. They don't check for high school. They just check for crimes and stuff like that. But that's another part of the system that's broken. They ignored the warning signs. The FBI ignored his threats online. They didn't do thorough enough, but that's where people are like, oh, background checks are too invasive or not invasive enough. They disagree on what part of the system is broken. You know, mental health, was he mental? Well, yeah, he has problems. Anybody who goes and shoots anybody is going to have a mental problem. But with this, this was like one of those clear-cut signs. Like, he seemed like it. I hate hearing that. He seemed like a nice kid. He was kicked out of school for being violent. He had problems in middle school for the same reason. As a person in the house, as head of the house, it is your responsibility to know you're not going to have a gun in my house. You're not going to have access to guns in my house. You're not going to have access to ammo. But it's easier to buy one of those AR-15s than it is to buy a pistol or a concealed hand license. I think you gotta be 21 for CHL and I think 18 to buy an AR-15. Okay, so boil the nettle for 2 turns, grind the belladonna. Drop belladonna and boil for 1. So nettle for 2. Was it 2? Okay, I'm distracted as fuck. 2 handfuls of belladonna. Alright. But like me, I don't have all the answers for it. You know, it's not something that I think I can fix. I just know that everybody's putting blames, like some of the politicians putting blames on video games. And don't even get me started with that. And some are putting on, you know, access to the gun. Some are putting it on thorough background checks. Some are putting it on mental health. But nobody wants to look at all of them together and go, all of this needs to be fixed. You can't just take one part of it and go, this will fix the problem. I know this much, and yeah, I gotta say, with the generation that's coming up of the kids who have been involved in these shootings, those are the people the politicians are gonna have to watch out for, because they're gonna be the ones running the country. They're gonna be the ones who aren't gonna tolerate it anymore. And from the outrage from these kids who are at that school are experiencing now, and they're speaking up, I think that the politicians need to be worried that they're going to have to act soon, or they're not going to be in office for very much longer. Yeah.
This sucks. And after this, I have to be in
Here's my opinion on gun control, on this whole situation. When I joined the Army at 17, we went through so much training before we were allowed to even touch the weapon, the M16, A2. We then were given the weapon without ammo, and we trained with that for a while, how to handle it, how to care for it, everything. We should be able to take the thing apart, blindfold it, be able to put it back together, blindfold it, type thing. We went through rigorous training with it. Then we would get ammo only under supervision and go to the range. That's the only place we would ever use it. And so we go there and we did it and we trained and we trained and we trained. Then it came down to we had to qualify for it. If you did not qualify, you did not graduate basic training. So we had to go through that, and we went through this rigorous training for weeks. And once we got done with that, we trained out. We get our badge, our saying whether or not we had, marksman, expert, whatever. For me, you got all these people going around buying all these weapons. I've always had this theory, if you're going to do that, then you need to be part of a state militia if you're going to have a weapon. If you believe in standing up for your thing, it's like you got your homeowners, and then certain communities you have your community watch. Fine. License them to do this. License them. Put this thing together so it can be structured. It can be, they can go through training. They can be licensed. Whatever. But the biggest thing is especially here in Texas, and I'm not slamming this. I'm not saying positive or negative things. I have my opinions either way about it. But I think in Texas you can go to a gun show and buy and sell guns without a license, without background checks, everything else. I do think that is problematic. It opens the door for anybody getting any kind of weapon. I'm a person that is very much paper trail, so if you're going to sell guns at these places and you're going to sell weapons, I do think it would help to, it needs to be at least on these gun shows, every weapon needs to be documented, every weapon needs to have the buyer on there and the seller, so that they can track, okay, this person now owns this with this serial number, it is attached to this person, so that we know. That's one aspect I do think that needs to desperately change, because there's gun shows there all the time. People do that privately, and I've been trained in several weapons in the military, and I do think it's something that needs to happen. If you own a weapon, you do need to go through the same rigorous training as the military does, as the police do, because as citizens we can do citizens arrest, and it is something that I think anybody who needs the training, needs to go through it. You don't get a car without a license. You don't get a motorcycle without a license. You don't get a boat without a license. It's like you don't practice medicine without a license. We get so many things here that requires a license, but to own a weapon you don't. To carry it, yes. Concealed, yes. Not necessarily carry it. I know in Texas it's open carry. So, yeah, I have opinions on it. I think it's stupid to have to license everybody on everything. Except this. But my thing is the thing that bothers me most about the gun talk is this. When everybody's pointing fingers and nobody wants to sit down and talk about it, that's a problem. That's where I think as Americans we fail. When nobody wants to sit down and go, we need to come to some sort of solution together. But everybody's like, nope, it's not this. Nope, it's not us. Nope, it's not us. Like, even as a gamer, I would be willing to sit down and go, what can I do as a gamer to, even are we responsible? Is there any kind of accountability that we can do that, you know, for whatever reason? Oh, there just needs to be something. You gotta talk. You gotta do something rather than stick your head in the sand. And this is what democracy is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about the people doing things. And it's come down to, as the people, we expect the politicians to do things. It's all in the politician's head. It's no, we the people, we're supposed to do stuff. I think I just screwed up. But I think it's that. I think it's when politicians say, now's not the time to talk about it. It was like, when do we talk about this? The next shooting happens? Because then we can't talk about it then either. I think I've screwed up this potion. Oh, nope. I'm surprised I did that without the timer. Okay. But like I said, everybody's very strongly opinionated about every single aspect of it. And I mean, I would just be willing to, I would love it if people would just be willing to sit down and talk. And come up with something. Come up with suggestions even. Just like, as long as, and here's the thing, as long as our government, as long as somebody's putting forth something that can either be approved or rejected, then we're making progress. But the moment everybody's not doing anything, that's the problem. You know, it's this thing of, I remember somebody once said, to change it would take 50 years to do anything different. So what are we supposed to do? Wait around 50 years until this conversation comes up again, then we say the same thing? It's going to take 50 years to have a conversation about this, and then we wait another 50 years? No, we need to do something. We need to at least get it started. Put our foot in the right direction. Any direction would just work. Because the thing, the glorious thing about, I would say, America is this. When something is put into place, doesn't mean it's permanent. So if it doesn't work, we can at least say we tried and try something else. Like with this, with...
Very nice, very nice.
Wow, 8 years. He's going to pay me a fortune. With Obamacare, well, people didn't agree with it. And here we have Trump who's changing it. So we had it. We tried it. It didn't work.
It looks like your job is done. We don't know of any other camps, so let's hope we'll have some peace for a while. Very well. What are you loitering around for? You did your job. You got your money.
I hate this guy so much.
Nothing. That'll be all.
I'm glad.
I'm so
Now
done
be
with
off.
this guy. Yeah, okay. Go back to sleep since you have so much to do, snoring. But I think that's what it comes down to, is everybody needs to sit at the same table and come up with something rather than doing nothing. And I think that's where change is about. Debating. You know. Sometimes we can come to a mutual, you know, middle ground, which is usually the best place to be. Yeah, it's kind of like this. You got these, like I said before, the three mechanics disagreeing over the car and best how to fix it. Nobody agrees. And they're too stubborn because each of them thinks they know the best answer to fix it. But if you set them all down at the same table with someone else, a fourth party, a mutual, you know, middleman or whatever, and said, let's sit down and, okay, why do you think this? Why do you think this? Why do you think this? And then we're having conversation instead of pointing fingers. Things can happen. Things can change just by that. I remember when I was in high school, I rode the bus. This happened in Florida. And let me tell you this. This is where, you know, we talk about change and stuff. But this girl on the bus got mad at this other girl. They got a fight. She pulled out her fingernail file that she does her fingernails with and stabbed the other girl in the throat with it. The other girl lived, but it was such a big deal that the school passed this, the district passed this law that no knives were allowed to be brought to school. This included plastic knives to cut food with, or any knives, not plastic knives, but so you're not allowed to bring a knife. So this girl brought a plastic butter knife to school to cut up her fruit, and she was expelled from school straight up because the rule didn't state no plastic knives, but that's the way they pushed it off as well. This includes those, so they did not give her a pass. They flat out expelled her. And to me, it's, did the system work? Did it not work? This girl's in no danger, but at the same time, this rule was put into place for a reason. But there was no conversation. It was just a flat out pin stroke across the board, like, we are not going to do this. It did not fix the problem. It caused more problems in the end. It wasn't until the parents got involved that there was an actual conversation held, and they started saying, okay, no fingernail files. They were very specific on what you could not bring, sort of like TSA on flights. Give me, sir. Get a mission.
I'm honored that you should come to me.
Do you want something?
I do. And you look like the kind of fellow who knows a thing or two and won't mind a bit of work that's not entirely, well, honest.
Oh, why did I talk to this guy?
What's that about?
Hey, zombie kid. What are you doing, buddy?
Someone who knows how to dip her pockets.
Nope.
For,
I don't pickpocket, dude.
of course.
Nope.
That's not for me.
Come dress
Very
your
well.
sweet potato however you want it.
I do not pickpocket, my good man. Hmm. Even plastic ones? Man, I got this one agility point I don't know what to do with.
Whatever you just said.
Potato.
Huh?
You want sweet potato?
Yeah.
I've got salt, pepper, butter. Butter's already on it. I've got salt, pepper, cheese. What do you want on it? Cavender's.
Salt. No Cavenders.
Salt and butter, is that it?
Yeah. Got a fair chance of throwing many dice. I'll do that.
No. No.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen anybody really bring knives to school is for that. But, you know, in Florida, everybody would bring pocket knives because they're given to it by their grandfather or their father. And
And my finger hit this button.
I even had one, you know. It was not very big, but it was just enough. Sketchy as hell, though, when I brought it out in class one time, man. The teacher just went, "Ooh, what are you doing with that?" I'm like, cutting this paper. Use scissors. Okay. I didn't argue. I was like, alright. There's a reason we have scissors in class. But then again, I've seen people get stabbed with scissors in class before.
I didn't salt it. I didn't want to mess it up.
Alright.
But I did butter it pretty well.
Hold on a second.
It's already open. You just gotta salt
Sugar.
it. I just want to overdo it.
Yeah, I think the rule is here from blade to the end of the hilt. It can't be over 6 inches when you're carrying it on your person.
Amy,
That's just in general, or it's considered a weapon. Really? 18 to buy kitchen knives? That's, I don't know what it is here. I don't even know if they got a law like that. I know you can't buy like any kind of pocket knife. Whoa. Oh, it's dark. Trying to figure out what I need to be doing right now. I complete all those missions. Wow. I don't even know how to get into that place. I think I'm ready to go
So, this is the art
take on the world here.
that shows this, and then the actual super, like, cuts art.
Welcome, Henry!
Got a picture.
Henry!
Expectation. John needing to fit expectation versus reality.
I need to find. Can I make you bark, zombie? I'm sorry, buddy.
Right now. It goes from this, and then it shows that, and it's the actual super attack animation.
Let's get him.
I'm like, why didn't you just do that, and then just animate it?
I got my dog to bark.
This doesn't move. It's not like it would have been hard.
Zombie coon.
Dude,
I'm still turning around right now.
in a game,
Alright, there we go.
then just
Head back to the.
yeah. This is the same animation. This doesn't move, so it's like, why didn't you just use this?
Get. Oh my god, you're worse than Roach.
What John needed to our expectation versus reality.
I need to go.
How are you, Henry?
I'm good. How are you?
It's supposed to be the same picture. The bang.
For God's sake, what can I do for you?
Wait, is it?
On the actual.
Is there somewhere I could sleep here?
Aye, there's room here. For how long?
Like expectation versus reality.
I'm
Just
not.
the one night?
Sure. Let's see your coin first. These are harsh times.
There you go.
32,000 coin.
You'll like it here.
Yeah, sleeping on cloud, whatever. Let's go.
Tell you were so like this.
Eating a pretzel, an apple. Bunch of food. Pretzel sound good right now. There we go.
Zombie? Seriously?
Hmm. I would say Don't let people get away with diminishing the gift or talent or experience you have, because they'll do it. You're gonna run across people that'll do it. Make sure to quickly put them in their place the moment they do. And don't be an arrogant. I used to work heavy labor jobs in this factory. This guy was always a prick to me. And he started going, he started yelling out every time I go, "Hey, smart guy." But it was some sort of insult he was trying to push off on me. "Hey, smart guy, hey, smart guy." You know, just being real meaning about it. What are you doing working the factory job? You smart guy. Right across, I would say probably a good 3 years later, after I graduated, I was working a job. That was like 5 years later. He was like, "Hey, you know," I was like, "What are you doing?" It turns out he was doing the exact same thing he was doing 5 years previous. Not getting paid a lot, but he was doing it. Oh, that's cool. You know, being real nice. And he's like, "Well, what are you doing?" I told him. And he just got this look at us where he's like, "Holy shit." He goes, "When did you find the time to do that?" I was like, "Well, I could either be in the same place you are in 5 years, or I could spend a couple years in college and be in a completely different place." But I just kind of rubbed it in his face without rubbing it in his face, I guess is what I'm saying. Let your experience speak for itself. You know, and your degrees. Hold your head high and just let your when people run across you that used to put you down and ask what you're doing, just, "Oh, I'm doing this." That's all you'll ever need to say. I had people I went to high school with that are still doing the same damn thing after 20 years. Never advanced. Struggling. Like, what are you doing? "Oh, I got a family. I've got this. I've got this. I'm doing this." Like, "Oh, shit." Like, well. And don't ever settle. If you're not happy, do something else. And a lot of people don't want to do what they want to do because they're afraid of failing, but you could always do what you don't want to do and still fail. You know? Either way, there's always a chance of failing. Oh, this guy's fast. I'm working on it. I'm working on stopping him.
At the very end, he goes, "I got one question to ask you. Did it feel good though?" Like one of his videos, this girl, friends with, and one of the questions.
Oh, and choose your battles.
He's supposed to be like super.
Definitely choose your battles.
Did it feel good though?
Not everything's worth it.
Essentially saying he don't want to eat, so he goes to like Fran and he goes, "Did it feel good though?"
You showed him.
It's just like that's IDubbbz's first like
thieving
diss track
magpie.
and he song.
Can't trust anyone
What are you talking about?
these days.
IDubbbz's
And
Bryce Gumby
just so
track.
you know, I'm no pinch purse. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
Yeah, small indeed. Yeah. It's definitely one of those games that's very niche, you know. Not everybody's gonna like it. I'm enjoying it for the most part. I'm just having fun with the fights. Quest. Fights, yes. The whole world is really fun to be a part of, though. fist fights and stuff are just like the best part about it, though. And he talked to the bath wench and his dad. Bath wench, where are you? Good questions. About to pass out, just running. Hey, where y'all at? Where is she? It's a villager. Damn. Like that dude wait on there to get her ass. Hey, lady! Wake up! No, don't turn. Ah! Excuse me, miss. Miss. She don't want to get up. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. What the hell's wrong with her? Oh yeah, and always try to at least have fun. There she is. Della.
I heard you've been seeing Hinek, the tanner's son.
So what? Come to preach at me, have you? That I'm a loose woman, a sinner, that I seduce decent men?
God no, nothing like that. It's just that you're the only one in the village who sees Hinek, so I came to ask you about it.
Aye, I've seen him often enough, but I don't know what I could tell you about him.
When did you last see him?
A few days ago. He came to me late in the evening, drunk.
That was unusual.
I never saw him drink much. He always came to me sober.
So he was acting strangely then?
He was strange. I had the feeling he was afraid of something. He keeps prattling on and didn't seem to care about you know what. So I threw him out and I haven't seen him since.
Damn.
Can you remember anything he said that evening?
Oh, I'm not sure. He went on about some fellow called Lubosh who died. That he was regretting he ever got into it. But he never said what it was. And that it wasn't worth it for the money. Aye. And then he was talking about the money. That was very odd.
What did he say about the money?
Just that he had a pile of it hidden behind his house.
I see. What did you say to that?
What could I say? He was drunk. He kept saying I was a fine girl, and other harlots wouldn't go with him even for money. And if I wanted, I could even take half the money and leave. Or he'd go with me, and we could get married and such. All just poppycock.
Did you go there for a look?
No, I've got better things to do. Obviously he made it up. Where would a layabout like him get so much coin?
Yes, I understand. Did he tell you exactly where he hid it?
He said he buried it at his father's small holding in the western corner.
Alright, thank you.
I'll go find Ricky's stash and steal it all. Yeah, he does. He sounds like very just, yeah, okay. Like, yeah, huh. Very nonchalant about it. Yeah. He's very plain. He's very just, yeah. He's not the typical boisterous hero type voice that you get. And am I even going the right direction? Yeah, and he's supposed to be Czech, I believe, or something like that. Not even British. I hate when they do that Oh, he's from Prague. Let's just give him a British accent when he speaks English. Mm.
I have a new favorite drink.
Yep. I believe there is a... This is not a bad one. Where did you say it was? Western corner of the small holding behind the tannery. That's west. Behind the small holding west. I think this is a tannery. Small building. Trying to figure out where the hell this place is. I don't know what the fuck some of this is. Small holding. Buried in the western corner of the small holding behind the tannery. Is this a small holding? Okay, let me see where this thing is. So it's in here, behind the western corner. I don't believe this is it. Which one's the tannery? I think it's the one he's working though. Thought this was... I hate treasure hunting sometimes. Buried in the western corner of the small holding behind the tannery. What is a small holding? Anybody know? You know what a small holding is? Because I don't have a clue. It's a word I'm not familiar with. Oh. It's got to be within this gated area. Let me check something real quick. I have to use my phone, so I might be away from the chat for a second. Small holding. What is it? Piece of land. Okay. Looks like it's one of these lots that you farm. It's like so these. Got it. I've got Ricky's stash.
What was that?
You ever heard the phrase pot to piss in? Like you didn't have a pot to piss in? They well, it's a phrase that you'll hear a lot around America, at least. It's like, he didn't have a pot to piss in. Some people it's used to describe someone as poor. But what back then they used to, tanners, that guy right there, the reason they hear the flies and everything is because tanners would use urine to tan the hide and stuff. So everybody was, if you're poor, you could always get money by using the community, right? So you all had this pot in your house or in your shack that you all peed in. You would collect it and you would take it to the tanner for money because he'd use that to dye. So when it says you didn't have a pot to piss in, it means you're dirt poor because you were so poor you didn't even have a pot to exchange as your money, so you couldn't get any money. You're a beggar pretty much, so that's what it meant. So whenever you get around these tanners, your flies, is because he's got a big pot of piss over here. This thing he's stirring is pee and leather. All these pots are urine pots. But it smells like the tree over here. Hello, good man.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
It stinks over here, so let's make this brief.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. You ever heard of him?
Shit. Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Enoch.
Ah. You wouldn't happen to know where he is, would you?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
No. Yeah, I go
Enoch
get some
shows up
sleep.
at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Nice. Vacation. Let's see.
Your son is about to get into deep shit. I'm trying to find him so I can warn him.
That's not fair. He's always up to his ears in it.
But this time his neck's on the block. He got mixed up with some very dangerous people. I have to find him.
Alright.
Yeah, he
He
worked.
was here a few days ago, but he left right away. He looked like he was in a hurry.
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly.
I don't follow.
Enoch makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Thank you. Don't you have any clue at all where his hideout can be?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from there, is all.
How's that?
Because every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away.
I suppose. He never kept any of his loot here.
Do you know who he sold it to?
No. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him coin. Of course, it could have been for me.
Alright, I'll ask at the inn then.
Damn. Got a few days off for the funeral.
What more do you know?
Nothing. I swear to God Almighty, I've said all I know. Enoch never told me nothing.
I know he didn't talk to you about it, but you must have
You need to know
noticed
anything else
something,
about
right?
this, or, let
How
me
much
know.
time did he spend away?
I can help
What was
you.
he wearing? How did he look when he came back? Anything?
Well, he came and went at all sorts of hours. I really don't know. Except maybe one thing. Come home scratched with brambles.
How old was he?
Some muck on it.
So he probably went through thick woods to get to that place.
I reckon. What do I know?
Oh. That's actually like the usually 73 to 83. It's typical lifespan here. I think my grandfather died at like 74 from cancer. There's the innkeep.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
From what?
I want to ask about the courier's son, Hinek.
But ask someone else. They've nothing to do with Riki. He'd only drive my customers away.
Really? I heard a different story. I heard the two of you do business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hinek's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is. But if you find the bastard...
Yeah, that's when my
then it's
grandfather
all
went out
for
with
some goods.
cancer.
I've no time for this. I have to find Hinek and you're going to help me.
Am I now? Even if I did know, why the hell would I help you?
This is a nice alehouse you have here. It'd be a shame if anything happened to it.
Are you threatening me?
What do you think? So are you going to talk? Or do I have to beat it out?
Fine. Let's get to the point then.
See now? Well, there's a will, there's a way.
I did some deals with Riki, but I swear to God, I don't know where
My
he is.
grandfather towards the end just crippled him. They had to put a morphine pump in his chest because of it.
I hear Hinek has a hideout in the woods he uses for hunting game. Do you know where it is?
Not exactly. That is, I don't know where it is at all.
But
But I happen to know it's a dark place, a cave. Or an old
Son
mine
of a
shaft.
bitch. They're gonna make me go to the cave I got lost in yesterday.
Whenever Riki was going poaching, he always came to me first for candles and hot oil. brought the game
Yep.
skinned and gutted, so we had to fight.
I got lost in that cave yesterday that he's going to tell me to go to. It is massive.
And do you know of any mine shafts nearby?
There's a few of them around. There's one on the opposite bank, a short way off the path leading from the forge to the west. Then there's a mine gallery to the east of the village, up in the woods above the cliffs. And I heard there's one shaft on the headland close to the water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch you don't break your neck, though. It's rough ground. You could easily fall down a shaft.
How much game did he bring you?
Go get some sleep, man.
Not much. A few pieces. There's no great demand here. Sometimes the gentry is something, otherwise it ends up in sausages.
Ow. Let me go get something to eat here in a minute. What is weighing me down? I know the mashup they're talking about. Actually, I'm gonna stop this here, but yeah. See me on tomorrow, let me know. I'll be on. Well, probably around 1 or 2. My time. I gotta go get something to eat if I could stand up. I hurt my back yesterday, so I'll talk to you later. I enjoyed the talks, and I just trying to move. Hold on a second. Got some back issues. Oh, hell, that hurts. Yeah, let me get Discord set up and everything, and I'll put it on my phone. I'm gonna try to figure out how to connect this tomorrow. Look me up tomorrow if you're on. I'll be on tomorrow night too. But I need to go run real quick. No, I'll talk to you later.